Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Sulaiman Qureshi, Scholar of Business Administration at St. University Campus Larkana. Today I am going to present my 4 topics of subject business policy, which are assigned by Mr. Sattaj Ahmed Sangi. So, my first topic for the subject of business policy is introduction to business policy. So, business policies are the guidelines developed by an organization to govern its actions. So, policies are going to be made in organization for taking its actions, how for better decisions in the future and present. They define the limits within which decision must be made, and also they define the limits in that limits what decisions can be taken in the organizations. So business policy also deals with the acquisition of resources with which organization or goals can be achieved. Through the best policy, every organization achieves every goal they set for the future in the organization. So business policy define the scopes or spheres within which decisions can be taken by the subordinate in the organization. It permits the lower level management to deal with the problems and issues without consulting top level management every time for the decision. So policies permits the lower level management to take decisions if the problems can if problem occurred. So the level policies permits the lower level management to they take decisions without consulting the top level management. And business policy is the study of the roles and responsibilities of the top level management, the significant issues affecting the organization success, and the decisions affecting organization in the long run. Now the importance of business policy. So business policies are the important to ensure that the business operates at maximum efficiency. So properly defined and explained business policies can result in smoother operations because everyone understands their own responsibilities in how to deal with the many problems and issues that occur in a workday. So business policy is the study of roles and responsibilities of top level management. The significant issues affecting organization success and decision affecting organization in the long run. Startup and small companies usually do not focus on business policy because their operations are directly under the supervision of the leader of the organization. If there are 10 employees, it is easy for the owner or CEO to ensure that everyone is following the proper business process. Now the features of business policy. So number one is specific. Policy should be specific, definite. If it is uncertain, then the implementation will become difficult. And number second is clear. Policy must be unambiguous, like it is clear, everything clear and clear. Policies should be clear. It should avoid use of jargons and connotations. There should be no misunderstandings in following the policies. So policy should be clear and specific. Number third, reliable and uniform. Policy must be uniform enough so that it can be efficiently followed by the subordinates. Number four, appropriate. Policy should be appropriate to the present organization goal. Number fifth, simple. A policy should be simple and easily understood by all in the organization. And number six, inclusive, comprehensive. In order to have a wide scope, a policy must be comprehensive. Number seven, flexible. Policy should be flexible in operation application. This does not imply that a policy should be altered always, but it should be wide in scope so as to ensure that the line managers use them in repetitive routine scenarios. Number 8, stable. Policy should be stable, else it will lead indecisiveness and uncertainty in minds of those who look it for guidance. So my second topic for the subject of business policy is marketing environment. So the marketing environment is consisted of factors and forces like internal force, external force. So the marketing environment that the business operates in, which includes factors and forces that affect the firm's policies and strategy. So marketing environment is a combination of external and internal factors and forces which affect companies' ability to establish a relationship and serve its customers. Here's another definition of marketing environment. Is a company's marketing environment consists of the actors and forces outside of the market that affect marketing management ability to build and maintain successful relationships with the target market. This definition is given by the Philip Kotler. So the marketing environment is made up of the internal and external environment of a business. While the internal environment cannot be controlled, the business has less or no control over the external environment. So first, if we understand the marketing environment, then we first analyze the environmental analysis. So all the relevant external forces should be analyzed as part of an ongoing planning process. In order to identify any changes in the operating environment which could either represent a threat to the firm's current position or an opportunity to gain additional competitive advantage. So the environment consists of external and internal forces. So the external force can be defined as the also known as the macro environment, are often outside the control of the firm. And internal environment can be the micro environment, uh, focus on the organization itself and how its characteristics and composition influence the way it responds to the target market. It also considers how it is portrayed to the target market. So now the components of marketing environment. Number one is the internal environment. The internal environment of a business includes all the forces and factors inside the organization which affect its marketing operations. So these components can be grouped under the 5 Ms of the business. Where are the 5 Ms? Are the number one is man, number second money, number third machinery, number four material and market. So internal environment is the combination of 5 Ms. If these are most important for the internal environment of the market. So now the second type of the environment is the external environment. The external environment considers factors and forces which are external to the business and on which the marketer has little or no control. The external environment is of two types. Number one is micro environment. So micro component of the external environment is also known as the task environment. It comprises of external forces and factors that are directly related to the business. These include suppliers, market intermediaries, customers, partners, competitors, and the public. And so the suppliers includes all the parties which provide resources needed by the organization, and the market intermediaries includes parties involved in distributing the product and services of the organization. Number third, partners. Partners are all the separate entities like advertising agencies, market research organizations, banking and insurance companies, transportation companies, brokers, etc. These includes in the partners of the external environment, which conduct business with the organization. Number Another component is customer. Comprise Customer comprise of the great target group of the organization. And another component is competitors. Competitors are the players in the same market who target similar customers as that of the organization. And the public. Public is made up of any other group that has an actual potential interest or affect the company's ability to serve its customers. Now the macro environment. The macro component of the marketing environment is also known as a broad environment. It constitutes the external factors and forces which affect the industry as a whole, but don't have a direct effect on the business. The macro environment can be divided into 6 parts. So number one is demographic environment. So the demographic environment depends on the location. So it made up of the people who constitute a market. It is characterized as factual investigation and segregation of the population according to their size, dynasty, location, age, gender, race, and occupation. So number second is economic environment. The economic environment considers factors which influence customers' purchasing power and spending patterns like demand, GDP, GNP, interest rate. And the third is physical environment. Physical environment includes the natural environment in which the business operates. This includes the climate conditional environmental change. It is. And number four is technological. If the technology in in advancement, so it would be better for the organization. And number five is political legal environment. These are the legal laws environments sets by the government bound it legal political legal environment. The political legal environment includes laws and government regulations. Government set the boundaries where the business can go and where cannot go. And number six is social cultural environment. The social cultural aspect of the macro environment is made up of the lifestyle, values, cultures, prejudice, and the beliefs of the people. So now the importance of marketing environment. Every business, no matter how big or small, operates within the marketing environment. Its presence and future existence, profits, images, and positioning depend on its internal and external environment. The business environment is one of the most dynamic aspects of the business. In order to operate and stay in the market for long, one has to understand and analyze the marketing environment and its components properly. And number third topic is digital marketing. So digital marketing can be defined as exploitation of a digital technologies which are used to create channels to reach potential recipients in order to achieve the enterprise's goals. So digital marketing should be considered more broadly than internet marketing. Digital marketing is located not only on the internet but also in electronics, software, etc., which the device users use to exchange data. And therefore, digital marketing combines digital and networking technologies. Thanks to what I mean can communicate not only through a mobile network but also TV broad reaches enables the enterprises to function on numerous electronic platforms. So now here is the tools for the digital marketing. When it comes to the digital marketing, few things are as important as the tools digital marketers rely on to get their jobs done. These includes everything from social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Analytics, etc., and Google Analytics. So number one tool for the digital marketing is social media platform. In social media platforms like Facebook and Instagram, these are there the marketers engage to uh, engage with their audiences and generate buzz around their brand. Number is second is tool for the digital marketing is design tool. Another key part of digital marketing is the design and and this is especially common when it comes to creating ads and content like social media posts and blogs posts. And it uses a Canva and Photoshop, and digital tool design tools can be done through the Canva and Photoshop. Number third is the analytics tool. Another set of helpful tools for digital marketing are analytics tools. This includes Google Analytics, Facebook Insights, and Twitter Analytics. Number four is content marketing tools. For marketers who are more focused on content marketing tools like Schedule and HubSpot are a big help when it comes to content creation and curation. Number fifth is email marketing tool. The final set of tools in a digital marketer toolbox are email marketing tools. These helps marketers to create email companies that amplify their content and encourage their users to become more engaged in their brand. So common email marketing tools includes email marketing platforms like MailChimp and Iterable, which allow marketers to build email lists and automate their email campaigns. So my last topic for the subject is business policy or organizational culture. So organization culture is consists of the different consists of, is basically a group of people who collectively work to achieve common goals. So it can be defined as a different people from the different cultures and roles and responsibilities work together in one organization. In order to understand the organization, we need to take a close look at its organization culture. So, an organizational culture is a system that outlines how certain activities are directed in order to achieve the goals of an organization. These activities can include rules, roles, and responsibilities. So, organizational structure also determines how information flows between levels within the company. For example, in a centralized structure, decisions flow from top to down, while in decentralized structure, decision making power is distributed among various levels of the organization, means top to bottom to down. Now the understanding of organization culture. So businesses of all shapes and sizes use organizational structure heavily. They define the specific hierarchy within the organization, like top to bottom, like a pyramid. Hierarchy can be defined as. So a successful organizational structure defines each employee's jobs and how it fits within the overall system. So each now, the organizational structure are normally illustrated in some sort of chart or diagram, like a pyramid, where the most powerful members of the organization sit at the top, like top level management, while those with the least amount of power are the bottom, means middle line managers. Now, the types of organizational structure. Number one is functional structure. Four types of common organizational structure are implemented in the real world. The first and most common is the functional structure. This is also referred to as a bureaucratic organizational structure and breaks up a company based on the specialization of its work. And divisional or multi-divisional structure. The second type is common among large companies with many businesses units called the divisional or multi-divisional structure. A company that uses this method structure its leadership team based on the projects or subsidiaries that operates. Now the Fletchery structure. Fletchery, a newer structure, is the third type and is used among many startups. As the name alludes, it flattens the hierarchy and chain of the command and gives its employees a lot of autonomy. Companies that use this type of structure have a high speed of implementation. And the last is mixed structure. The fourth and final organizational structure is the matrix structure. It is also the most confusing and the least is used. This structure matrices employees across different superiors, divisions, or departments. And last, thank you.